So can you give any like cool success stories or big wins on how improved fluid analysis actually helped in different reservoirs, whether it be conventional, unconventional, maybe both?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, in the unconventionals, I would say that fluid analysis is starting to really come into its own in the last probably post COVID. You
Hmm.
know,
That's
if
fairly
I if
recent.
I very recent, and it's very I'd say it's a hot topic that changes constantly. So, pre-COVID, we worked with a lot of companies out there to screen surfactants, which are essentially just soap that is supposed to make it easier for the oil to be produced. And so I spent all of 2019, literally the entire company, all we did was measure surfactant performance in unconventional. So how much, what's the right one, and what's it actually doing in my reservoir? Some of the great success stories there were being able to right size the chemical loadings that are being provided. And that doesn't mean necessarily removing chemistry, though sometimes does. Often we'll also say, well, this product performs better if you increase loadings by, 20%, 30%, or maybe you should cut it significantly. And one of the biggest wins we had was with a client um, who's now called Civitas Resources, but we saved them almost, I think it was 60% on their chemical costs per frac
Wow.
just by doing some work. So we helped them identify a new chemical blend that was at a different loading than it was previously being injected at. And the wells were coming on and producing, as good or better than the previous wells, but their costs per frac on the chemical side were drastically reduced.
No
So
kidding. That's I
being
mean,
able
that's
to
big money.
actually screen these things, because you don't have a lot of the times when people are building frac packages, they don't have um, enough evidence to say, well, one loading's better. And often what happens is, well, let's just be safe and add a little bit more.
Hmm.
And more is not necessarily more
No,
in almost all situations.
that's so true. So in that case, like when you have a big win like that, do you typically see companies doing more with you and your services and potential? Or is it kind of like once you've helped provide the solution, is it like, thank you. If you need us again, let us know. Like how does that model work if you or whatever you're willing to share?
Absolutely. It's a question we get asked all the time because it really depends on our clients' business models and how they like to think.
Yeah.
And really their ability to be adaptable to the situation that they are in. And the thing I'll tell people is when we frack, most of the fluids are water. And water is really the base root of all success and problems in the oil field, whether that's frack, EOR, conventional, whatever. No water source, even if it's the same water source, is going to be the same tomorrow as it is today.
Yeah.
And so, water compatibility with all the chemistry or all the fluids that are downhole, that is the one thing that changes on every single well, and you cannot control it. Even
Hmm.
if you think it's fresh water changes on it based on source, based on the time of year, based on a million different things. And so, whether it's fresh water or produced water, your water source is always changing. And so, another success case we've had here is we work with a company called Select Chemistry. They actually use our tools in their laboratories to do fluid compatibility. So they supply water and chemistry to the Permian.
Ah, yeah.
Um, and what they do is they check for compatibility between the water that they have on hand today and the chemistry that they're recommending to their clients before that well gets pushed
Hmm.
or before that well gets fracked. And they're seeing significantly higher performing wells. And I'll let them speak to the actual numbers there.
Yeah.
But say the number of sort of barrels that are being produced by their wells is up way outside of the noise compared to the without doing the compatibility analysis. And
Really?
so doing well by well water chemistry oil compatibility, obviously it's self-serving for me to say it, but I think it's critical.